Welcome to The Lead Word. One of your hosts, Chad Bauman. With me, as always, Trey Daubert. It's Tuesday, September 26th. Early as fuck in the morning.
It's
What's
not
going
even
on,
that
Trey?
early. It's like 8.
It's early. Well, I mean, it's early to be doing the show.
I do the NBA shows with Jared at 6.
Yeah, I don't like I already told you this. I was gonna try to go to the gym this morning, so I didn't. That's another thing I'm not woken up yet because I didn't get to go to the gym. I was gonna try to, in order to go to the gym and be ready for work, I would have had to wake up at 6:30 and go, and I tried, and I just couldn't do it. So I'm still like I'm just still tired. I haven't had my daily adrenaline
It's all right.
run.
We've had a great week of football. Trey is basically on the right side of 800 things. No surprise there. Matthew Berry's in for an ass kicking at the end of the year, so I'm in a good mood.
I'm just tired.
Do you want me to start or you want to start?
Yeah, I can start, I guess, because I mean, if we
May as well
do
start
like
with the game that
everything,
was on last night.
yeah. So a couple things. I mean, specifically with the Eagles, and this is not specifically the last night. It's kind of like specific to their season in general right now. I think, and this is something I texted you last week, or it might have been the week before. I don't remember when I texted it to you, but I think so far what we've been seeing out of the Eagles is I think it's really important why your starters shouldn't play the entire preseason, but I think you have to play them at least a couple downs and series in the preseason.
Chad, you're 3 and
It's
0.
so important.
You're 3 and 0.
I mean, yes, they're 3-0, but it's not like you can't ever you can't be satisfied. And I'm gonna be Jalen Hurts for a second here. You gotta always be trying to get better, right? And like look for things that you can improve on. Their offense has been terrible. Not terrible. I shouldn't say they've been terrible. The first 3 games, their offense has been a slight disappointment.
Well, you lost
Um,
coordinators.
I think it's more than just the loss of coordinators. Like, I said this to you, it can be multiple things, right? It can be, their offensive coordinator this year isn't as good as Steichen was last year,
By the way,
and
the
it can
Colts
also
look
be that they
fucking
look
pretty good.
rusty.
The Colts
They
look
look
pretty good.
rusty, huh?
The Colts look pretty fucking good with him, by the way.
Yeah, I'm just saying that the Eagles offensively and defensively to a certain extent they look rusty, right? And I think a lot of that is, again, it can be the coordinator, but I think there's a portion of that too where you need the preseason games to get ready to go out and play real competition. Like, I had somebody try to tell me that, like, oh, well, they do the joint practices. The joint practices get them into no, it's not the same thing. Because in a joint practice, you still can't tackle the quarterback. Most of the time, you don't even tackle like in the joint practice. It's wrap up and don't bring to the ground, or a lot of the times with that bullshit. So it's not the same as doing like full in-game contact. So like I said, I think the Eagles, and they kept mentioning it last night on the broadcast. Right now, this offense isn't hitting on all cylinders. The Jalen Hurts we're seeing now is not the same Jalen Hurts that we saw at the end of last season. But I'm not worried. I think they're going to continue to get better. And I think we've seen that like week over week, a progression on this team. But I think this team, like the passing game, it's not all the way there yet. Um, Defensively, they're in a lot of these games because the defense is playing really well. I think a lot of like people are trying to say the Eagles defense is getting lucky because they forced a lot of fumbles this year, but it's not really luck. They're just forcing fumbles, right? Like the ball is being punched out. Like the only one that I would say is kind of lucky was the fumble, last week or 2 weeks ago, I guess now because week 3 is over, but against the Vikings on the punt return. That's probably the only lucky fumble they had. All the other ones they were forced by the defense. So
I think Jalen Carter's fumble last night wasn't really lucky.
oh yeah, he fucking lit him. Rashad White. Like I felt bad. I felt like
I was gonna say I don't think that fumble was really lucky.
he's good. He is so good.
He's fucking damn. The only thing I have on the Eagles is they're gonna be tough to beat with those fucking defensive tackles, man. I mean, Tom Brady has talked about that over and over again. The thing he hates the most is interior rush. Good luck stopping those motherfuckers. I mean, they're nasty.
Well, I mean,
they're nasty in the middle of the defense.
I mean, there's a reason why Tom Brady hates it so much, right? Because when you have that pressure like right up the middle like that, like it makes it like unless your defensive end's just completely just getting his ass kicked, there's nowhere to go when you have pressure right up the middle like that.
They're going to be tough to beat with those guys alone. And remember when we did our site mock draft a couple of years ago, I took Jordan Davis 5, and everyone looked at me like I was a fucking lunatic. It might be the right spot. I think if the Giants had passed on Evan Neal and taken him, that would probably been the right call.
Yeah, I'm glad they didn't. Jordan Davis, Jalen Carter, they're so good. Like it's ridiculous like how good they are. I mean,
and
especially
Fletcher Cox being your third guy is crazy.
Yeah,
because that's what he is.
Got sacked last night. Fletcher Cox did.
Yeah, his whole career he was facing double teams, and now he's like, "Oh shit, I'm the one in the single team.
I'm not even the starter. Like I'm the guy that's getting forgot about here. Like
it's crazy."
Yeah,
and I'll wrap up with this on the Eagle stuff, unless you have more to say. Boy, Swift looks good, huh?
Oh yeah,
that boy Swift looks good. Whew. Little lightning rod out of the backfield he is.
Yeah, I tweeted this against the Vikings. You know, Kenny. No, I mean you don't ever hope somebody gets injured, but literally Kenny Gainwell getting hurt is like the best thing that happened to our offense this year.
And Gainwell was good in week 1, but it was criminal that Swift wasn't getting touches.
Yeah, no, like I said, I didn't want Kenny Gainwell to get hurt, but like you kind of needed him to, because otherwise, like the way they were trying to not use Swift.
It was crazy.
Like you kind of needed Kenny Gainwell to go down so that way we fucking Sirianni's eyes could be open to the possibilities of what.
And Rashad Penny's just chilling on the bench. They don't even try to use him.
Yeah, thanks because I have him in fantasy.
So. No, you don't.
I have him in one league, don't I?
I don't have him in this league. Or
our league, I have him, don't I?
I don't think so.
Oh, I thought it did. I don't know. Maybe I have him in the Vendetta League.
That's probably it.
Yeah. Okay. I knew I had him somewhere. I just couldn't remember where.
Anything else to add on the Eagles?
I don't know. Like I said, I think right now this offense isn't hitting on all cylinders. And I think once Jalen fully gets all the rust off, because you could still, even last night, you could still see Jalen's not making the same plays that he made last year. And I don't think it's a regression thing. I think it's just that he's still rusty. And I think once he gets all this rust off of him, oh, look out. This offense is going to pick back up where we left off last year. And honestly, like so far, the strength has been the defense. And I thought our strength coming into this year was going to still be our offense. But like I said, I think there's still some rust to work off.
I think
Brian Johnson's getting better as a play caller.
The only weakness you have is probably the secondary, and Blankenship's getting better, huh?
Yeah. My boy Reed. He's a dog. Love him.
All right. I got 2 today. I was going to wait on the first one, but I feel like I have to talk about them. I'll talk about them again. I don't really care at this point. How the fuck did anybody think the Chicago Bears were going to be a good football team this year? That's what I want to know. Chad, their over-under win total was 7.5. Vegas line, 7.5 wins for the Chicago Bears. Who the fuck thought they were clearing that? That's what I want to know. That team fucking sucks. And it goes from top to bottom. Their general manager is a dope. Their head coach is a dope. Their quarterback's playing like shit. I don't think he's as bad as he's playing, but he's definitely bad right now. Their defensive line, terrible. Do the Bears have a redeeming quality in their entire organization right now? Because I don't see one.
I think I will say this. I think obviously Justin Fields is struggling. I think that's
an understatement of the year.
Yeah. I'm trying to be nice. Shut up. It's early. I think, like I said, Justin Fields is obviously struggling. I don't
fucking killing it out there.
I don't think it's entirely on Justin Fields. Like, again, I think two
Of
things
course
can
it
be
isn't.
true. Two things can be true at once. One, Justin Fields can be struggling because he's making some poor decisions, but also I think offensive coordinator wise, I feel like they've regressed. Like whoever they got calling plays now is not doing Justin Fields any
It's the same.
favors.
Their entire coaching staff is the same as it was a year ago, except for the defensive coordinator that apparently got his house raided, and we don't really know what the fuck's going on there.
I thought they changed offensive coordinators
No.
because like the guy that's like I don't. So a couple things. One, like I said, I think they're not putting Justin Fields in the best positions to succeed.
Their offense should look like Atlanta's, and it doesn't.
I think another thing too. I don't know if you saw, like a couple weeks ago, I saw a clip. It was DJ Moore. It was either after a game or before a game. I don't remember exactly when it was, but he's going up to one of the defensive players, comes up to him, and he's like, "Yo, they're not using you right." And he's like, "Yeah, I know."
Oh yeah, Devin White said that to him.
Yeah, so
Yeah, I saw that.
like it's because in you, well, yeah, there you go, Devin White. He would know. He played against the guy 2 times a year for like however many years. So I like they're just not, like you said, they're just not good, like at all,
No.
like across the board, like
No.
like I guess the only silver lining redeeming quality I could come up with is, hey, Justin Fields is young, so even if you waste this year, you'll still have him for a while.
He's not going to be the starting quarterback of the Bears next year. There's no way. They're going to pick one. But
yeah.
I just want to talk about
he's young. Maybe, like, again, he'll suck, but you'll get a pick for him. Maybe we'll do that. That's what we'll say.
I just wanted to, I don't know. We don't have to spend a ton of time on it. And they played the Chiefs, and we knew they were going to lose to the Chiefs, whatever. 0-3 Bears.
Buccaneers.
0-3 Bears, 0-3 Broncos coming up. That's going to be fun. That's going to be fun. But I just wanted to spend a couple seconds on the Bears. just quick observation.
Are they playing week 4?
Yeah.
Oh.
It's going to be hilarious. Their general manager.
Can you put negative points on the scoreboard? Is that a thing? Is that a possibility for us?
Their general manager. I mean, the decisions this guy's made. How the fuck did anybody? By the way, Denver. This is how bad the Bears are. Denver got a 70-piece hung on them. They're the favorites against the Bears by 3.5. Their general manager. How did anybody think he was making good decisions? How did anybody think he was improving the team? I don't get it. This head coach, Matt Eberflus, he runs the worst defensive scheme in the league. He basically allows anything to happen. His whole scheme is, we'll run and chase. Keep everything in front of us. His defensive line's terrible. You can't play like that if you're not fucking creating sacks. So he just gives up fucking passing yards left and right. It's crazy. And Fields, I think they've broken him. Like, it literally looks like he's trying to, like, guide the ball. Like, he's not even – if you watch his throwing motion, it looks like he's, like, pushing it to where he wants it to go. He doesn't trust anything. It's bad. It's really bad.
Can you blame him? Like,
I mean, some of this is
if you were here, I mean, the only guy I guess you could really trust is DJ Moore, but like as we touched upon earlier, like they're not helping him.
You mean giving up the first pick in the second round that turned into Joey Porter for Chase Claypool wasn't a good idea?
Actually, that's another guy. Like, is he even fucking playing right now?
He
like,
sucks. He sucks.
He was so. I don't want to say he was so good, but he was good with the Steelers. Is it Claypool? Is it a Claypool sucks thing, or is it just the Bears are just bad thing? Like,
both, I think.
I mean, think about it too. Like, it could, like, I mean, a lot of the Bears is being bad could just be coaching because they weren't terrible last year.
Yeah, they were
terrible last year.
They were terrible last year.
I mean, they weren't this bad.
They were the first pick in the draft. Chad, they're now 0-13 since the Roquan Smith trade. 0-13.
Well, I feel like they were better last year. No. I don't know why. Well, they didn't start out 0-3, so that maybe they are.
No, they won. They won like out of the gate, and then they lost every game.
So, like I said, they weren't that bad last year. They got it
They had
worse.
the first
Like,
pick. They had the first pick in the draft.
Well, like I said,
They might have the first pick again.
Yeah. Well,
if they have the first pick again, and those guys keep their job, there should be fucking riots in Chicago.
They're so bad they might fuck it up and to get the second pick.
The only thing
they might be so bad they forget to lose against the Broncos. That's how bad they are.
The only thing that's gone their way is they have Carolina's pick and they suck too. That is the only redeeming quality the Bears have right now.
Well, to be fair, like Carolina is starting a rookie quarterback. Actually, no, isn't
Dalton started this week.
Dalton, okay, yeah. Yeah, but and then they still lost, so it doesn't matter.
We can move on to your next one. I have so many receipts that I just cannot wait to share. The amount of fucking idiot Chicago Bear fans that were coming after me. I can't wait. Well, I'm going to wait until after the season to post all those, though. I can't wait, though.
Any chance they learn how to use DJ Moore and turn this thing around?
No.
Does Fields get benched this year at all? You think they bench him? And if so, at what point?
I think it's possible. Yeah.
What week does Eberflus get fired?
I don't know. Fields getting benched, Eberflus getting fired, Ryan Poles getting fired. I think it's all on the table. And especially if you're like, you know what? Listen, they're bad, but they're turning things around roster-wise. I don't want to hear that. I don't want to fucking hear that. Do you watch Jalen Carter last night? The Bears were one pick ahead of him. And they took that fucking piece of shit, Darnell Wright, who's not even good. I don't want to hear that, this thing takes time. They're turning the roster around. Bullshit.
Yeah, I think the biggest problem with the Bears is that they got the quarterback before they got their O-line settled.
They don't have anything settled, Chad. They don't have anything settled.
Well, that's my point. Yeah, Justin Fields is a great player, but if you don't have the O-line in place, you can't go out and get the quarterback because now you end up in a situation where they drafted. What did they draft Fields 3 years ago? Or 2 years ago?
Can I just say this?
Now they're probably drafting another quarterback this year.
Can I just say this about Fields? Some of the sacks are definitely on him, though. Undeniably, some of the sacks are absolutely on him. He holds onto the ball way too long.
What do you expect him to do? Nobody's open.
Again, I'm not saying the guy was in a position to succeed. I defended Sam Darnold with the Jets. It's not a coincidence that the Bears quarterbacks always suck and the Jets quarterbacks always suck. They have not helped this guy at all, but he hasn't played well either. I don't see how anybody could defend him right
now. I think as a young quarterback, there's a lot to be said for my team's not helping me. At least Russell Wilson, they never got him an offensive line, but they still ran the ball. They had pretty solid wide receivers. They never had an all-star wide receiver.
Always fucking nasty.
Yeah. Fields, it's hard for me to blame him when we've said, he literally has zero help.
Well, listen.
Yes, he has DJ Moore, but the coaching staff is not helping.
If the 49ers got a 4th round pick for fucking Trey Lance after that preseason, who knows?
Yeah.
Who knows?
That's a fair point. Well, like I said, that's the silver lining. He's still young, so even if you waste this year, he's still got, it's not like this is the end.
He won't be the quarterback for them next year. There's no way.
Yeah, that might be a good thing for Fields. Get him out, have him go somewhere else, and with a team that actually cares.
Sure. Go ahead.
I
can't wait to share those receipts, though. Can't wait.
I know it's your favorite thing of all time to do. Is oh, this guy said I was stupid. Oh, look what he said. Where are we looking now? Cowboys, Cardinals. I am so happy. Like, honestly, the Eagles could have lost yesterday, and I still would have been like, oh, it doesn't matter. The Cowboys fucking lost. I love Cowboys fans because they fall into the same pattern every year. Every fucking year, it's the same pattern. And we talked about this before the Giants game. Oh, the Cowboys, they're good.
Chad, I ate the cheese. I was like, holy shit, this team might be fucking different. And I never do that. I never do it.
Look, I've always been one to give credit where credit's due, and I've said this before. This Cowboys team is so fucking talented. They roster-wise, they could possibly be the best roster in the NFC East.
The only reason why I ate the cheese this year was like, I'll tell you what, man. Micah Parsons just might be so fucking good that he's the best player in the league, and it might not matter. But
you know what? That's not wrong. I mean, Micah Parsons is so good, he makes other good people look not good. Like, that's how good he is. Like, it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
So my thing is we talked about this before the Giants game. Look, all right, we talked about it was after the Giants game. The Cowboys are good, but don't get it twisted because they have a good September and a good October. In December, they fucking choke. And they're choke artists. They love it. They love nothing more to set high expectations and get knocked down. There's a reason why they haven't been good since the salary cap. When you can't just go out and pay $1 billion for every single fucking player, it makes the game harder. And that's why we don't see as many, in the 70s, the Steelers constantly won the fucking Super Bowl. In the 80s, the Cowboys won a bunch. 90s, Cowboys won a bunch. 49ers won a bunch in the 80s and 90s. Is a reason why we don't see repeats like we used to, except for with the Patriots. And half of that reason was Tom Brady was always taking less money so that they could put a somewhat decent roster together. My thing is, and yes, I'll say this. Obviously, Stephon Diggs going down, that's going to hurt their defense.
That's the only thing I wanted to talk about.
But look, Stephon Diggs don't play offense. Stephon Diggs not being there.
Trayvon Diggs.
With Trayvon, same fucking guy. Who cares? Trayvon Diggs doesn't play offense.
There you go.
Right? Trayvon Diggs being out is not the reason why they couldn't score more than 16 points against the sorry-ass Cardinals. Trayvon Diggs being out is not the reason why they couldn't score more than 16 points against Brock fucking Purdy. So, look, I mean, say what you want. And I'm not saying, I'm not out here LaShawn McCoy, Dak is ass, because I think Dak does get a bum rap. He gets a lot of the blame, but that's what happens when you're the quote-unquote quarterback of America's team. Fuck that. They're not America's team, by the way. America's front-running team, maybe. But, look, here's the thing. I think they played a bad Giants team. A Giants team that kept shooting themselves in the ass. And they put up 40 points and it was like, oh, Cowboys Super Bowl, it's a locked in.
Their defense put up all the fucking points.
Exactly. And now we're seeing they're not that good. Mike McCarthy is a shit play caller. Every single fucking pass was 2 yards within the line of scrimmage. It's the same fucking offense, except now they're just running the ball more. And Mike McCarthy is taking knees to close out first quarters or first halves, as opposed to whatever the
They definitely appear to be way more conservative this year.
Honestly, if anything, I feel like that's holding them back.
I'll also say this. There's no way I'm paying Dak $45 million next year. No way. No way. That team's too good. I'd much rather take a guy if I could have Deion Sanders' son, Shadur Sanders, for free and put the rest of the money into the roster, they're better. He's not worth 45. I'm not saying he's bad, but he's not worth 45.
I mean, it's a possible. Well, I mean, you're not going to get Shadur next year because Deion's already said that he's not coming out in the draft. So,
but it's going to be a loaded quarterback draft. Let's say the Texas guy Ewers is available. I'm doing that. There's no way I'm paying Dak 45.
I mean, they got Dak in the 4th round, but I mean, is that what they're looking for though? Because let's be real, they're good enough where they're going to be drafted in the late 20s. But
I think there might be 6 quarterbacks taken in the 1st round.
I
It's
mean,
gonna
yeah, but those
it's
the
gonna be
good
unbelievable how many go.
the good guys usually get drafted in the top 20, and like I said, they're going to be drafting like in the mid to late 20s. So
You might have to move up.
yeah, that's fair. But I just wanted to point out, like, you can't judge the Cowboys what they're going to do for the season based on their success early in the year.
That wasn't
Because,
success yesterday.
well, no, it wasn't success yesterday, but after they beat up on the Giants after last week, the only thing I fucking saw on Twitter was, oh, Cowboys Super Bowl. The Cowboys are so fucking good. Yeah, they're good every fucking September. They're not good in January. Like we see this every fucking year. And honestly, I'm really getting sick and tired of the Cowboys starting the fucking season out against. You know how many years I've watched the Cowboys open their season against the Giants, kick the shit out of them, and get an easy win week one? Can we fucking stop? Why can't the Eagles get an easy week one?
6 in a row against the Giants they've won or something like that.
Yeah, let can the Eagles get an easy week one against the Giants for once? Can we, please?
The only thing I wanted to talk about, the group in our Slack, in our company, has decided that Trayvon Diggs is no good. I'm sorry, and I'm not going to put the whole loss on him, but man, does he impact the game, man. A lot of those Stephon Gilmore targets where he was being hidden as the number 2 corner, he gave up a lot of receptions in that game that probably wouldn't have happened otherwise. I'm just saying. You can bang on the guy all you want for giving up a couple big plays. Man, he's good with the ball in the air. I don't know.
I mean, I don't think Trayvon Diggs sucks or anything like that. But I will say this:
Oh,
I do.
Chickster thinks he sucks, and the
I
rest of
think
the
there's
fucking.
a fair bit of overrating. I think there is a fair bit of overrating.
I don't think he's overrated at all. I would have paid
I
him.
think he's still one of the. I will say he's still one of the best corners in the league. But like,
yeah, but
people
that line, what you just said, our group thinks he sucks, and that it's just not right.
Like, I think there's a very clear case for him being in the top 10.
Yeah.
I'm not putting him top 5 though, because of he does give up he gives up big plays all the time. Is my point.
Sure. He also comes away with like 9 picks every year.
Well, again, like I said, like I think he's one of the best at his position in the league, but people are like, "Oh, he's the best." No, I think that's ridiculous. Like I said, I'm not putting him top 5.
If you do a random poll in our company Slack, they act like he's one of the 5 worst corners in the league.
No, that's absurd. Like, again, like I don't like, you can't do that. Honestly, look, I love Darius Slay, but I mean, at this point, like, people try to be like, "Oh, Darius Slay's better than him." I'm like, no, he's not. Like, Darius Slay's, he's good.
Yeah,
he can lock you up if he's on his game, but he's not Trayvon Diggs good.
I agree.
I will say this: Slay is definitely the safer choice because he generally does not give up big plays at the same clip that Diggs does. But
also agree.
But it is what it is. I mean, like I said, it's insane to say Trayvon Diggs is not a good football player because he's like I said, he's one of the best.
Tell that to the rest of the fucking idiots in our group.
I would probably say I'd probably put him somewhere around 8, 9 in my top 10 list of corners.
Can I do the Broncos now?
Yeah, you're good.
So in a video I made before the year, I basically called out Sean Payton. Listen, man, you're 60 some years old, whatever. You've worked your whole life at this. You won a Super Bowl with the Saints. You spent the last however many years, 3-4 years, with no quarterback play, whether it was Broken Breeze or piecing together the Teddy Bridgewater experience or Taysom Hill or Jameis or whatever. You haven't had things stacked in your favor, and they've been in cap hell. I understood why you wanted to leave the Saints. But why the fuck would you want to re-enter that situation? Basically in a tougher conference. Like, oh, we're going to leave the NFC South to join Kansas City, and I know the Chargers are dysfunctional, and the Raiders are too, but still, the AFC West is way harder than the NFC South. I said he'd be miserable by week 8. That was way too high. That was way too high. He's miserable by week 3. I just don't want people to forget about all of the things that fucking guy said during the offseason. Chad, you say this line all the time. Your ego is writing checks your body can't cash, man. That is Sean Payton. That is Sean Payton. The shit that he gave Nathaniel Hackett, that's the worst coaching job of all time. Buddy, you're 0-3 with the same fucking team. Basically the exact same team. You're 0-3. But hey, Hackett, worst coaching job of all time. Worst coaching job of all time. You got fucking 70 hung on you, and it could have been 90. Like if they really want, how many? It was 70 with 2 minutes left in the third quarter or something like that, right? It was something like that. There was a lot of time left.
I know it was the most significant that I remember is that they had the chance to beat the record. Oh, they were in field goal position with less than a minute left, and McDaniel could have ran the field goal unit out. If they kick a field goal, they would have broke the NFL record.
I know for a fact there was at least 10 minutes left in the game where they had 70. And those guys were out long before that. They could have put up 90.
Oh, yeah. The Dolphins backups were scoring on them. Yeah, that's true.
They could have put up 90 if they wanted to. What a fucking asshole he is. Oh, Hackett, worst coaching job of all time. I mean, what an asshole he is. Seriously.
I mean, devil's advocate, hey, at least they have the snap under control this year. Like last year, they had
great.
Last year they had so many play clock penalties, like literally their fans had to count down the play clock.
No question.
Otherwise, they would get another one.
No question. But is it more disrespectful than McDaniel going into the stands and asking the fans to call plays? Because that's what he did.
Did he really? I didn't know that.
He was going into the stands asking fans what they want to call. Is that more disrespectful? I don't think I've even seen that before. I don't think I've even seen that before.
I love it. That's fucking amazing. I wish I was a Dolphins fan now because of that.
So
I know I said you can't, but can I have a second favorite team in Miami? Is that my can I do that? Like,
so listen,
amazing.
Hackett may have screwed up the plays, but you're so fucking bad that the other head coach and the other team was asking fans to draw up plays. So while dropping 7.
I mean, let's also. I mean, the Saints. I mean, I don't know if maybe there was something said differently in the offseason. I mean, obviously, Sean Payton, his comments about worst coaching job ever. And I mean, to be fair, he's not entire. I mean, maybe he didn't finish his sentence. Worst coaching job ever until you see what I'm about to do this year. I don't know. Maybe that's what he was getting at. But what I was going to say is like, I mean, how much is this that the Saints are kind of like in a rebuild? This is we're just going to like shit the bed this year, get our first overall.
Can we talk about this? This fucking guy had such a big ego on him that he was okay with giving the Saints a first rounder and the second rounder to leave, to go coach the Broncos. The Broncos handed them 2 really good picks, which is helping New Orleans right now. So this guy, I mean, seriously, you handed your old team 2 high picks. You brought back the same fucking team, basically. You were convinced you were going to fix Russell Wilson. That Hackett was the problem. He fucking stinks. He was never going to fix Russell Wilson. I mean, watch the games. It's so obvious that he doesn't want to get hit anymore. He doesn't want to get hit anymore. And he's not even trying to look down the field. And the other thing, Vance Joseph has been a terrible defensive coordinator forever. Any defense that he controls, they're bad. Why was it a surprise that his defense is getting cooked? And they were good defensively last year. We want to say, Hackett, worst coaching job of the year. Last year, all I know is they were pretty good defensively last year.
Yeah. Well, I don't
what
know
happened to that unit?
I don't know about pretty good, but they were.
I'm going to pull up a stat because I think I can find one. I'm pretty positive they were pretty good last year on defense.
Yeah, I mean, they're a bad team. And I mean, like I said, the only thing at this point is whoever wins. I mean, obviously we don't know how the rest of the season is going to go, but like whoever loses week 4 against the Bears, like that could seriously affect who gets the number 1 pick. Like, you just have to just throw as many interceptions as you can and hope for the best, right?
Denver last year, 7th in yards allowed, 13th in points allowed. That was with a broken offense. So if their offense was better, their defensive numbers probably would have been better too.
I mean,
What happened to that unit?
Or you could say that the other teams were winning by so much that they didn't have to try late in the game.
And they changed defensive coordinators too. Their old defensive coordinator, I think he's on the Viking staff. Could be wrong about that.
Yeah. I mean, and he's not doing so hot. So, I mean, that's not like it's a.
Well, that's Flores. Flores is coaching the Vikings defense. I think he's a position coach there.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say like,
which is another topic of this fucking game. When is somebody gonna acknowledge that Brian Flores tried to tank Tua? When is somebody gonna put the blame on him for that? That's what
I mean, was he just not good at calling plays though? Because no, he was the defensive guy. He's a defensive guy. Like,
remember, he kept benching him. He'd put fucking Brissett in, and it was a mess.
Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot about that. Oh yeah, Tua's not gonna play. Yeah, and then like he brings him in at like halftime for like a quarter, and then
what the fuck are you doing?
Oh yeah, that's funny. I forgot about that. I mean this. I was kind of I don't want to say it was optimistic, but yeah, I mean I thought Sean Payton. I thought Russell Wilson would be better with Sean Payton.
I thought they would be better, but I'm not surprised they still suck.
No, I specifically thought Russell Wilson would be better, which
he doesn't want to get hit anymore.
Yeah,
he doesn't.
I mean, at this point in his career, though, it's kind of like, I mean, he's lost the, like, he doesn't have that dog in him no more. He's like,
it's obvious.
It's like he's banging Sierra. He's won his Super Bowl. He's ready to pack it in. I think what do we got? Maybe 1 or 2 years left to Russell Wilson before he retires.
It's so obvious. It's so obvious.
And I mean, honestly, I kind of feel bad for Russell Wilson at this point because, I mean, football is clearly over, and you don't have a broadcasting job lined up because you're such a fucking cringeworthy guy. Like, he is so like.
I don't feel bad for him.
He's like that kid that always tries to be cool, but you're just like, bro, get away from me.
He almost makes it worse. Like, he's not cool, but he like makes it worse.
Like if we were in high school, I would go out of my way to pick on Russell Wilson at this point. I'm not condoning bullying, but some people just kind of need it.
Anyway, I got more, but we got a couple minutes left before I have to close out. So whatever you got left.
I don't know. I'll be kind of quick with this one.
And make sure Reiner puts the timestamps in this time. Don't forget to tell him to do that.
No, I think that was on me because I think he sent them, but I probably just forgot to add them. But I'll make sure I tell him about the timestamps. I don't know. 2-1, Houston Texans. Is there anything to that? CJ Stroud.
No, they're 1-2. 1-2.
I thought they were 2-1. Whatever. Well, okay, yeah, they beat the Jaguars, but CJ Stroud looked good last week.
He did look good.
Jaguars. Is this the start of a run? Do we see those Houston Texans like start building on this? I want to say yes because of my fantasy with CJ Stroud, but I don't know. They're just not good. I think they kind of got lucky against the Jaguars a little bit. I do think that flash of CJ Stroud is something we can expect in the future if they build a team around him.
They're for sure not good, but I think they should be very encouraged with what they're seeing out of him.
Yeah.
So before the draft, I had Stroud as my number one, and a lot of it had to do with Bryce Young being tiny. And even in the games, I don't know how much you've watched Carolina, Chad. It's one like we knew Bryce Young was small. It's almost shocking how small he looks on TV. Like it's almost shocking how small he looks.
He does look smaller than Kyler Murray, which is kind of hard.
It's crazy. Like we knew that he was small, and we knew he was only 5'10" or whatever. When you actually put the games on and you see him next to other guys, it's staggering how small he looks, and he's already hurt. If you did a redraft right now, I think Stroud goes 1. Which it's way too early to do that shit. But all of the things that he was good at Ohio State, just being like a pure drop back quarterback, Gets the ball out, just a pure point guard kind of guy. And he's mobile. He looks pretty good. I think they should feel okay with what they have.
Yeah. Like I said, I think, and that's why I asked, I think like at this point, you just have to build a team around him.
Yeah.
Obviously, offensive line work. I mean,
And Tunzel didn't even play last week.
Yeah. You'd love to see them get a solid wide receiving core for the guy.
I can't believe that little Tank Dell looks all right too. I can't believe that. He's like 140 pounds.
Yeah. What are the chances they win against the Steelers though? I'm actually kind of intrigued by that game. I think I kind of want to say they have a shot, but then I remember TJ Watt.
I think they do. I think they do have a shot. Coming off a short week for the Steelers too.
I want to say it, but like at the same time, like the back of my mind, I keep thinking like, oh, TJ Watt's gonna just have a field day.
Probably. But
I mean,
I think Texans fans should be happy.
Yeah. No, that's fair. They should be very happy.
All right. I got to do this meeting, but wrap up and good show, Chad.
Yeah, I thought so.
Yeah.
Well, that's going to do it. What was I going to say? Oh, as you can see down there at the bottom, check out our website, vendettasportsmedia.com. If you want more posts, all our other shows get posted there. Pretty much everything going through the site's going to get on there. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment on our YouTube channel. Like the video, hit subscribe and hit the bell so you get notifications when we make new posts. You can follow Trey on Twitter at Trey Daubert. You can see his name spelled right there in front of you. You follow me on Twitter at Lowfooted, LILFOOTED. And don't forget to follow the site at Vendetta VSM on Twitter. You can go ahead and follow us on Instagram as well and like us on Facebook. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next week.